Hey guys, good morning. Now today's time is 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm shooting this video for you to giving you knowledge about the Customs Act 1962, about the customs clearance, imported goods and export goods. So if you a customs broker, importer, exporter or doing logistic business, you have knowledge about the Customs Act 1962. So I recommend you must watch my videos to improve your knowledge or expand your knowledge about the customs clearance, Customs Act 1962, and this will help you to grow in your career, to grow in your business, to grow in your professional life. So guys, I am the first person in India who is giving in detailed a lot of information to you on my YouTube channel. So my humble request to all who is watching right now my videos, please subscribe to my channel. It will motivate me to create new videos on the Customs Act 1962, on the customs clearance and related activities. So guys, back on the topic. In the last video we have seen chapter number 14. In the same core section we have already seen chapter number 14 is confiscation of goods and conveyances and imposition of penalties. In the same, there is sections from 111 to section 127. So almost 17 sections are there, and from the 17 sections we have already seen 4 sections in the last video. If you not watch my last video, please visit to my channel and you can play playlist of the Customs Act 1962. So guys, once again I am repeating the sections which we have already seen in the previous video. Section number 111, confiscation of improperly imported goods, etc. Section 112 is penalty for improper importation of goods. Section 113 is confiscation of goods attempted to be improperly exported. Section 114 is penalty for attempt to export goods improperly, etc. Section 114 is penalty for attempt to improperly export goods. So now in this video we are going to see chapter 14, and in the same section number 114, a penalty for short levy or non-levy of duty in certain cases, and in the same where the duty has not been levied or has been short levied or interest has been not charged or paid or has been part paid or the duty or interest has been erroneously refunded by reason of collusion or any willful misstatement or suppression of facts, the person who is liable to pay the duty or interest, as the case may be, as determined under subsection 8 of section 28, shall also be liable to pay a penalty equal to the duty or interest so determined, provided that where such duty or interest, as the case may be, as determined under subsection 8 of section 28, and the interest payable thereon under section 28AA is paid within 30 days from the date of the communication of the order of the proper officer determining such duty, the amount of penalty liable to be paid by the such person under this section shall be 25% of the duty or interest as the case may be so determined, provided further that the benefit of the reduced penalty under the first provision shall be available subject to the condition that the amount of penalty so determined has also been paid within the period of 30 days referred to in that provision. Provided also that where the duty or interest determined to be payable in reduced or increased by the Commissioner of Appeals, the Appellate Tribunal, or as the case may be, the court then, for the purposes of this section, the duty or interest as reduced or increased, as the case may be, shall be taken into account. Provided also that in case where the duty or interest determined to be payable is increased by the Commissioner of Appeals, the appellate tribunal, as the case may be, the court, then the benefit of reduced penalty under the first provision shall be available if the amount of the duty or the interest so increased, along with the interest payable thereon under section 28AA, and 25% of the consequential increase in penalty has have also been paid within 30 days of the communication of the order by which such increase in the duty or interest takes effect. Provided also that where any penalty has been levied under this section, no penalty shall be levied under section 112 or section 114. Explanation. For the removal of doubts, it is hereby declared that clause first, the provisions of this section shall also apply to cases in which the order determining the duty or interest subsection 8 of section 28 relates to notices issued prior to the date on which the Finance Act 2000 receives the assent of the President. Clause second, any amount paid to the credit of the central government prior to the date of the communication of the order referred to in the first provision or the fourth provision shall be adjusted against the total amount due from such person. Okay, so section 114A, penalty for short levy or non-levy of duty in certain cases. So section 114AA, penalty for use of false and incorrect material. Section 114AA, penalty for use of false and incorrect material. So in the same, if a person knowingly or intentionally makes, signs or uses or purpose to be made, signed or used any declaration, statement or document which is false or incorrect in any material particular in the transaction of any business for the purposes of this act shall be liable to a penalty not exceeding 5 times of the value of the goods. Section 114 AA, penalty for use of false and incorrect material. Section 114 AB, penalty for obtaining instrument by fraud. Section 114 AB, penalty for obtaining instrument by fraud. Section 114 AB, penalty for obtaining instrument by fraud. So in the same, where any person has obtained any instrument by fraud, collusion, willful misstatement, or suppression of facts, and such instrument has been utilized by such person or any other person for discharging duty, the person to whom the instrument was issued shall be liable for penalty not exceeding the face value of such instrument. Explanation. For the purposes of this section, the expression instrument shall have the same meaning as assigned to it in the explanation 1 to section 28 AAA. So section 114 AB is penalty for obtaining instrument by fraud, etc. So this is also very important section in the Customs Act 1962. Section 114 AC, penalty for fraudulent utilization of input tax credit or claiming refund. So in the same, where any person has obtained any invoice by fraud, collusion, willful misstatement, or suppression of facts to utilize input tax credit on the basis of such invoice for discharging any duty or tax on goods that are entered for exportation under claim of refund of such duty or tax, such person shall be liable for penalty not exceeding 5 times of the refund claimed. Explanation. For the purposes of this section, the expression input tax credit shall have the same meaning as assigned to it in clause 63 of section 2 of the Central Goods and Services Tax Act 2017, 12 of 2017, to section 114 AC, refund of fraudulent utilization of input tax credit for claiming a refund. Section 115, confiscation of conveyances. Section 115, confiscation of conveyances. So, in the same section, there is subsection: the following conveyances shall be liable to confiscation. Clause A. Any vessel which is or has been within the Indian customs waters, any aircraft which is or has been in India, or any vehicle which is or has been in a customs area while constructed, adapted, altered, or fitted in any manner for the purposes of concealing goods. Clause B. Any conveyance from which the whole or any part of the goods is thrown overboard, staved, or destroyed so as to prevent seizure by an officer of customs. Clause C. Any conveyance which is having been required to stop or land under section 106 fails to do so except for good and sufficient cause. Clause D. Any conveyance from which any warehoused goods cleared for exportation or any other goods cleared for exportation under a claim for drawback are unloaded without the permission of the proper officer. Clause E. Any conveyance carrying imported goods which has entered India and is afterwards found with the whole or substantial portion of such goods missing, unless the master of the vessel or aircraft is able to account for the loss of or deficiency in the goods. Subsection 2. Any conveyance or animal used as a means of transport in the smuggling of any goods or in the carriage of any smuggled goods shall be liable to confiscation, unless the owner of the conveyance or animal proves that it is or it was so used without the knowledge of the or connivance of the owner in himself, his agent, if any, and the person in charge of the conveyance or animal, provided that where such conveyance is used for the carriage of goods or passengers or hire, the owner of any conveyance shall be given an option to pay in lieu of the confiscation of the conveyance a fine not exceeding the market price of the goods which are sought to be smuggled or the smuggled goods as the case may be. Explanation. In this section, market price means market price at the date when the goods are seized. Okay. So market price at the date when the goods are seized. Section 115 is confiscation of conveyances. Section 116, penalty for not accounting for goods. So this is also a very important section. Section 116, penalty for not accounting for goods. If any goods loaded in a conveyance for importation into India or any goods transit under the provisions of this act or coastal goods carried in a conveyance are not unloaded at their place of destination in India, or if the quantity unloaded is short of the quantities to be unloaded at that destination, and if the failure to unload or deficiency is not accounted for to the satisfaction of the assistant commissioner of customs or deputy commissioner of customs, the person in charge of the conveyance shall be liable. Clause A. In the case of goods loaded in a conveyance for importation into India or goods transit under the provisions of this act, to a penalty not exceeding twice the amount of the duty that would have been chargeable on the goods not unloaded or the deficient goods, or as the case may be, had such goods been imported. Clause B. In the case of coastal goods, to a penalty not exceeding twice the amount of the export duty that would have been chargeable on the goods not unloaded or the deficient goods, as the case may be, had such goods been exported. So section 116 is penalty for not accounting for goods. So section 117 is penalties for contravention, etc. not expressly mentioned. Section 117 is penalties for contravention, etc., not expressly mentioned. Any person who contravenes any provisions of this act or abets any such contravention or fails to comply with any provision of this act with which it was his duty to comply, there no express penalty is elsewhere provided for such contravention or failure, shall be liable to a penalty not exceeding 4 lakh rupees. So here is penalty amount not exceeding 4 lakh rupees. Section 117, penalties for contravention, etc., not expressly mentioned. Section 118, confiscation of packages and their contents. Section 118 is confiscation of packages and their contents. Clause A, where any goods imported in a package are liable to confiscation. The package and any other goods imported in that package shall also be liable to confiscation. Clause B, where any goods are brought in a package within the limits of the customs area for the purpose of exportation and are liable to confiscation, the package and any other goods contained therein shall also be liable to confiscation. Clause B, where any goods are brought in a package within the limits of the customs area for the purposes of exportation and are liable to confiscation, the package and any other goods confiscated therein shall also be liable to confiscation. Section 118 is confiscation of packages and their contents. Confiscation of packages and their contents. Section 119, confiscation of goods used for concealing smuggled goods. Section 119, confiscation of goods used for concealing smuggled goods. Any goods used for concealing goods shall also be liable to confiscation. Explanation: in this section, goods does not include a conveyance used as a means of transport. Section 119, confiscation of goods used for concealing smuggled goods. Any goods used for concealing smuggled goods shall also be liable to confiscation. Explanation: in this section, goods does not include a conveyance used as a means of transport. Section 120, confiscation of smuggled goods, notwithstanding any change in form, etc. Section 120, confiscation of smuggled goods, notwithstanding any change in form, etc. Subsection 1, smuggled goods may be confiscated notwithstanding any change in their form. Subsection 2, where smuggled goods are mixed with other goods in such manner that the smuggled goods cannot be separated from such other goods, the whole of the goods shall be liable to confiscation, provided that where the owner of such goods proves that he had no knowledge or reason to believe that they included any smuggled goods, only such part of the goods the value of which is equal to the value of the smuggled goods shall be liable to confiscation. So, Section 120, confiscation of smuggled goods, notwithstanding any change in form, etc. Section 121, confiscation of sale proceeds of smuggled goods. Section 121, confiscation of sale proceeds of smuggled goods. Where any smuggled goods are sold by a person having knowledge or reason to believe that the goods are smuggled goods, the sale proceeds thereof shall be liable to confiscation. So, Section 121, confiscation of sale proceeds of smuggled goods. Section 122 to Section 127 we are going to see in the next video, because from Section 122 there are no adjudication and related procedure has start. Okay, so in this video we have seen Section 114A to Section 121 sections. And the chapter 14, confiscation of goods and conveyances and imposition of penalties. In the same, we have seen till time the sections up to 121, 121. So section 111 is confiscation of improperly imported goods, etc. Section 112 is penalty for improper importation of goods. Section 113 is confiscation of goods attempted to be improperly exported. Section 114 is penalty for attempt to export goods by improperly. Section 114A, penalty for short levy or non-levy of duty in certain cases. Section 114AA, penalty for use of false and incorrect material. Section 114AB, penalty for obtaining instrument by fraud. Section 114AC, penalty for fraudulent utilization of input tax credit for claiming refund. Section 115 is confiscation of conveyances. Section 116 is confiscation penalty for not accounting of goods. Section 117, penalties for contravention, etc., not expressly mentioned. Section 118 is confiscation of packages and their contents. Section 119, confiscation of goods used for concealing smuggled goods. Section 120, confiscation of smuggled goods notwithstanding any change in form, etc. Section 121, confiscation of sale proceeds of smuggled goods. So these are all sections we have already seen in detail in my videos. So guys, thank you for watching my video. I hope you like my videos, and you have to listen these videos again and again to improve your knowledge about the Customs Act 1962. Because if you are not listen these videos again and again, you are not able to understand the act language. Okay, so this is act language, so you have to give yourself a little bit time to understand these videos. So my humble request to all, please listen these videos again and again. I'm repeating this again and again because you have to understand that the Customs Act 1962 is very easy to understand, but you have to give only some time to understand it. Okay, guys, I hope you like my videos, and if till time you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and also like to my videos, and share to your friends and family members who has required the Customs Act 1962 knowledge or the customs clearance knowledge. So guys, thank you for watching my videos. We'll meet you again in the next video with another sections, another chapter. Thank you guys.